How's everyone doing today? My name is Codeybean. I'm going to be showcasing to you my converted van that houses both a gaming setup as well as a motorcycle. Let's talk about a little bit about myself. I am a recent college graduate, or I guess background about why I built this to begin with. Built it because after I graduated college, the regimented Massachusetts Maritime Academy, so that sucked. I wanted to take on an adventure after I graduated college because I figured that was going to be the only time that I was really going to be free before starting my new job. So I wanted to take on that challenge. I will say, graduating with an engineering degree, designing this van was actually kind of an interesting engineering project for myself as well. So it kind of got some experience out of it as well, if you want to call it that. I also ride motocross, so I wanted this to hold a dirt bike as well as a motorcycle, or vice versa, I guess I should say, because after the trip, I'm mainly just going to be using this as a vehicle for my motocross trips, which is usually just on the weekend, so it's really just housing one dirt bike and then going from there. But I also am a gamer at heart, so I wanted to have both gaming and the motorcycle in one. Without further ado, let's get into the tour. So, I guess just for background, this is just your normal, average-looking, disgusting work van. I bought this in 2019. Guess I'm gonna talk to it like this. Bought it in 2019. It was actually originally a CBS News van, but it sat for a very long time before I bought it. But I bought it with about 47,000 miles, somewhere around like that, for $3,800 back in like 2019. $3,800, something like that. Then again, since this was a CBS News van, the mileage might be a kind of a false representative for the age of the van because they do a lot of idling, so that means not driving. But the van is still on and running, so the 47,000 miles that I bought it with is kind of like a meh, can't really go by that. It's alright, whatever. We bought it anyway, and it honestly worked out pretty good. But without further ado, let's start from the front and work our way to the back. In the front, we actually have a giant swivel seat. Honestly, it kind of just stays like this 24/7. I don't really change that. But this is also where I sit for the gaming setup. I will demonstrate that in a couple minutes, but everything that's here just kind of stays like that. And then the driver's seat is actually just a normal seat still. I don't have a swivel seat for that, but other than that, the front is untouched. So here is where we get to the nitty-gritty of things, and what most people are probably most interested about in this van is the gaming setup. So this is where I sit. This is my table actually, and it's not just a laptop, it's a full gaming computer. More details on that in a second. Literally, full gaming computer. We got cellular, full setup, whole 9 yards, did not go. I didn't hesitate on any of that. I wanted it to be just like the experience I would get if I was at home, but in my van. I guess we can start going into the gaming computer now. Alright, so as you can see here, I have a mounted monitor, and this will actually pull out all the way to basically anywhere you want, but this is honestly the perfect spot because it's just at the edge of the table, and then it's right in front of my face. So everything kind of works out. I've got enough space for the keyboard, the mouse, and then this is where everything rests, and it goes from there. Now you might be asking, where's the computer? Back here, I actually have a 12-inch sub and my full tower gaming computer back there. There it is. That's a complete gaming computer. It actually has a 3080 in it, as well as a 12700K for the processor. So it's not just like some dweeble computer from the store, This is a power-hungry beast. And I also made this wooden mount for it for when I'm driving, because I don't want it to be bouncing around and stuff when I'm going over bumps. But the other thing, too, is that, the subwoofer is literally right on it, so it's going to be vibrating regardless. It's just trying to minimize that as much as possible. As far as powering that thing, that's looking great. It's only half unplugged, but I have an outlet back there, and then that powers the computer, but it goes all the way back to the electrical panel, but we'll get into that in a couple minutes because I'm working from the front to the back. So, what makes this a little bit different than most things, on top of, the motorcycle being in here too, but each panel actually makes up my bed, but every panel can actually be folded up so I can move around inside the van. So, for example, move this over, and then this lifts up on a hinge so that I can walk through. Look at that. Beautiful. But this actually makes up my bed, and that might be confusing to some people. It seems to be very confusing to everyone that I explain it to. So let's get into that and explain the bed. You have to put down the keyboard. So the first step to making my bed is that I need to actually pull out this panel right here. And doing so is literally just on a hinge. You fold it up, and it's got one little foot down there. Now that is technically what makes up my bed. Just from that corner to that corner. You may be wondering, how do you sleep on that? That's tiny. Well, I'm built tiny, so it works out. So basically, to get my bed started, all you have to do is, you know, get rid of the spare change. And I have a tri-fold mattress from Amazon. Honestly, way more comfortable than I thought it was gonna be. 10 out of 10 would recommend. So this mattress actually unfolds and lays straight across like so. Honestly, works out pretty good. Sometimes this area will actually push down a little bit because there's nothing supporting it because it goes over the seat. So sometimes I'll just stack backpacks on there. Each panel actually still lifts up too, so if you need access to the gaming computer from the top, this one lifts up as well. Or the subwoofer, I should say. Now, another thing that's right next to there is the fridge. I have a 12-volt fridge in there. Rotate. Alright, so I also do have a 12-volt fridge in here. With that being said, slide this over. Typically I don't because I'm lazy, but all you have to do is lift this up. This is actually broken, so it stays there, and you can lift up the chest and get into the fridge. Typically what I'll do is, because I'm lazy, is I have a bed here, and then I actually have the sleeping bag, the blankets, and the pillow all stacked on top of it, so it kind of takes up everything, but I'm lazy, so I'll just lift this like that, and then kind of reach in there and grab whatever. That's just me, because I'm lazy. Another thing that people get confused about is, how do you have internet inside of a mobile vehicle? So this thing actually works off of a mobile SIM card. So you just get a data plan with, you know, T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T. Depending on which router you go with, this is called a cellular modem. It's called a cellular modem. So you get one of these off Amazon, or wherever you can even find one, and then you just basically get one or two mobile SIM cards and with data plans, and then you can kind of put both of them in there, and then depending on which service is the greatest, the modem will actually select the SIM card that gets the better signal of the two, and then you kind of go from there and you have internet. So it's pretty cool. I converted this to run off 12 volt, like most things in here. Almost everything is calculated out to be running off 12 volt, except the computer, because I wanted to downsize the inverter as much as possible, because that increases efficiency. Using the inverter actually has like a 10%, 90% efficiency is usually what comes out of the inverters. So as much as you can get on 12 volts, that doesn't have to be transferred from DC to AC, is the best way to go. I guess we could pretend a game. You did. I'm pushing very hard at the moment. Oh, I'm dead. Alright, and that's basically how the gaming goes. I had to wait like 30 minutes for this to update so I could play this for this 4-second clip. Alright, leaving the game. And, on that note, let's talk about the electrical system. Nope, I lied. We still have one more thing before the electrical system, and that is the ceiling fan. Let's talk about that. So, we got the ceiling fan right there. Right there. We got the ceiling fan right there. We got wireless remote that also works with, has a temperature setting so it can be set to automatic, and it also has a rain cover. Shut up. Yeah, so the ceiling fan is actually kind of cool. So turn it on. If you can see it, it's got like a set temp. It's got other things that you can set on there. You can have the air come in or out, which is nice. And then it also has a rain sensor. So if it's raining out, the cover will actually close automatically. The only thing that I genuinely don't like about this ceiling fan is how loud the motor is when it's opening the cover. I just feel awkward in a Walmart parking lot at like 2 a.m. and it's like, not a fan, no pun intended. It's actually not super loud either. It's actually pretty nice. Oh yeah, that's basically that. So I'm gonna turn that off now. We can move on to the second half of the build, which is the kitchen, the electrical system, and the motorcycle. The motorcycle. So I'm disassembling my build so I can bring my computer and stuff back inside, but I forgot to mention that I have a shoe rack underneath my floor. So I have my hiking shoes, my shower shoes, and then my my normal running shoes and stuff. Alright, so I decided to switch to my phone for this portion of the video because the Super View is a lot easier to work with. So basically we have two 200 amp hour batteries. Both of these are AGM. or sealed lead acid. So 400 amp hours. Oh, I was looking for that actually. That's supposed to go up here. Whatever. The biggest power draw obviously would be the computer, but the computer playing video games, 400 amp hours, technically you have to divide that by 2, so basically we're only using 1 battery because you have to, you can't let the batteries discharge past 50% or else it can damage the battery. Consistently used just about 200 amp hours rather than all 400. So with that being said, I can usually get about 8 hours of having the computer on. So yeah, that's not too bad. So charging these batteries, I don't actually have solar. I actually just charge this directly off of the alternator. So a lot of the times I'm actually spent driving during my trip. So it actually worked out. I didn't sit too much at one location, so I was totally fine with running the van for that short duration of time if I needed to charge the batteries rather than just, you know, buying a whole solar kit and dealing with that nonsense. Moving forward with everything else, after the batteries, we have the 1000-watt inverter because the computer at maximum, the power supply is rated for 750 watts. Monitor, which is rated at like 100 watts maximum. So 1000 watts was perfect for me. I was trying to downsize that as much as possible. I was able to do that by putting everything else on 12 volts. So basically, this is your solar charger, or I guess I should just say the charger controller, whether that is. So what's cool about this one is that it actually does both solar and charging directly off of the battery's alternator. You don't have to have one or the other. This one is cool. You definitely pay a premium, but having the option for both at the exact same time is very cool in my opinion. So I went with it. So the rest of it actually goes to the 12-volt distribution panel. And then we got, you know, the refrigerator. I called this the whip lights because it's just the lights for the motorcycle in the back. Got the water pump for the sink. Interior lights is up front, and or actually I have no idea what each one is, but coming off of the batteries, this is the main shut-off switch. Definitely want one of those in case of an emergency. And then I also have a breaker before the 12-volt panel. So moving on after that, we do have some 12-volt transformers, just because I thought that the batteries operated at a different voltage than they actually do. Here we go. Here's our switch panel, if we move back. So realistically, we only have 2 sets of lights. We have the ones up front over there, just 4. These are actually dimmable, which is pretty cool. They actually end up being pretty bright. If you're scared of the dark, you can actually turn on a backlight for this button. So that's kind of cool, but I don't really care for it. I don't like night lights. And then I have 2 lights back here for the motorcycle. And then the rest of these, all 4 of these are absolutely useless. None of those do anything yet. This one is actually for the water pump for the sink. I'd like to have an option to manually do it, but it is an automatic one where it will pressurize when it feels the need to. This is your battery monitor. Typically, it's not going to look like it's been stepped on, but I accidentally stepped on it, so nothing even shows. At least you can see the voltage, which is kind of what I was going off of anyway, but for some reason I was having troubles with this, and it wouldn't actually calibrate, so I never actually knew exactly how much I had. I was just going off of the voltage. Now, I guess it's not that interesting, but the motorcycle is basically just strapped in. I did have a D-ring on this section, but as you can see, it actually ripped off, and the entire motorcycle fell over directly onto this cable. So that was not ideal. Stuff happens, I guess, you know. You live and you learn. I built this little wheel chock for myself, and then I have one strap that goes there. I have one strap that now goes through here around the body, and then I have another strap down here that comes over the seat and through the swing arm and stuff. That might be gibberish to some people, but that's how I'm rolling. Now for the cabinets. These are actually extremely boring. Literally, it's just like a dumb door. There's not really anything to it. I don't have shelves in there. It's literally just hiding the rest of the wall. But I do have a lot of things in there, including, you know, my little cooktop thing. Got some buns in there. And the rest of my food is also over there. And then this one is the same thing, but one side is actually my water jugs. And, you know, kind of dumb. I left originally with these 2 gallons or 2 5-gallon jugs of water, and I'm coming back with probably about 5 gallons of that original 10. But yeah, this is the water pump back here. Going out of the water jugs, you just have a little straw right there. I didn't want it to be too complicated, so easily replaceable, easily repairable. And then you have my beautiful countertop sink, Literally, you just turn it on. Nice. Oh, I turned it off. Basically, you just turn it on. If you can find the nozzle. Just like a normal sink. And then, mine, right out the side. Yeah, so doing that, it was literally just grabbing a garden hose. Well, yeah, that's basically the van build at the moment. I don't really think there's anything else that needs to be said. I mean, I guess I do have these Reflectix things that go over the windows, but I don't think I need to demonstrate that. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Kind of cool beans. Definitely got some work to do. It's not 100% finished. It got rushed. Also, if you're questioning the Spider-Man bed sheets, someone's got to keep me warm at night. And I chose Spider-Man. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe for more, and then if you guys have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them in the comments. So make sure to comment something down below if you have a question. They can be related to anything, van life, what's going on in my life. I'm usually pretty good about responding to comments. I guess that's really it for the most part. I don't really think there's anything else that's that interesting about it. I think it's just different that both I'm putting a whole gaming computer in there, and then also I'm sacrificing a lot of space to put the motorcycle in there, which most people don't do. It's either one or the other. Enjoy the rest of your day.